Friends, I am having with me stand-up comedian, person who can make jokes. ATUL Khatri is a Mumbai-based business person who, you will not believe, at the age of 44, developed a hobby, being an IT, the CEO of the company in IT. He decided to give up, to start the hobby, and at 48, he started it professionally. Dear Atul, hello. And now this person is considered among 20 best comedians in India and by some research, number one comedian in India.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you so much.
Happy to see you. Dear Atul, my first question to you. Now the time when we don't have many reasons for jokes. There is political difficulties, there is not enough money, there is a pandemic, but we want to joke, but we're afraid to joke, and sometimes it's stupid jokes. Anyway, how to make jokes, can you give some recommendations for us? Or some people will say, oh, I will start my presentation from the joke, and then he say, oh my god, how to make a joke, or how to make. So people want to make jokes, but they don't know how. They're not smart as you, who can start your business. By the way, Atul is 54, imagine this, and he's looking very young, and to make jokes as a job, that is very intriguing. Tell us
So
how to make a joke.
I tell people it's very clear that you wake up every morning, go through the newspaper of your country or city where you are, and every day you will find 4 hours of joke every day. Just if you go through the newspapers, because our, wherever you live, yeah, our politicians, our community, the cars, especially in India, which is such a vibrant country. We have Bollywood, we have cricket, we have the politicians. Every day they say something which is so funny. I think it's just a knack of anybody to just go there and find the jokes. And once you start thinking as a comedian, once you start writing jokes very regularly, it becomes like a habit. Like how you are such an expert in hosting this show, just like that. I think once you start writing jokes, honestly, joke writing becomes fairly easy. You develop some style, and I think it's pretty easy. And uh, uh, the key over here is to first remember to joke on yourself. You should remember to take a laugh on yourself. Don't get offended if somebody makes jokes on you. And I
But
think
how not to get offended if somebody will tell you, oh, you're very fat, or you become very old, or your nose is very long? Olga, what do you think? Like, your nose is really very long. How can you live with such a long nose? Of course, it's ridiculous. You think, oh my God, oh my God. How not to get offended, number one?
no, so please remember that whenever a comedian comes on stage and makes jokes, it is not really his only intention, his or her only intention is to make you laugh. Seriously, no comedian wakes up and says, "Let me offend, this community, this religion, this country, this politician." No, no, no. Our intention is to only make you laugh. But in that process, if your sentiments get hurt, then please make your sentiments strong. It's a very tough life out there, so please make your sentiments strong. A comedian can joke about anything he or she wants to joke about. So yes, and I think you have to have a thick skin to be a comedian, because as comedians, we ourselves, like when I go on stage, I say I'm old. I talk about my age. I talk about I'm also pretty fat actually. So I go on stage. So I make a joke about how I put on
What do
weight
you
in the
mean?
last.
I'm also very fat. You mean that I'm a little bit fat, yeah?
No, 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 because you just said something about fat. I'm just saying about that. No,
I'm
you are
joking. I'm
thin. Like
joking.
I
I'm
know, I
joking,
know.
Atul.
Yeah, so I think it's very important to take jokes on yourself. Most comedians are very thick-skinned. They are absolutely, you know when I sit in with my comedian friends and they tell me, they keep on saying jokes, you're old, you're this, you're that, and as comedians we love it actually. So it's okay. So the key point over here is to just enjoy a comedy show. Don't think too much. Come 1 hour, 2 hours for a comedy show. Just enjoy, laugh your heart out, and you remember, you should know that laughing improves your blood circulation. So it's very good for your heart also.
So when you make jokes on the stage, you think about your blood circulation. I will never believe it.
No, I think about the blood circulation of the audience members, not about me.
Atul, what about, tell me please, at the age of 44, you made it as a hobby, but at the age of 48, you gave up IT business. And Indians are considered the best IT, one of the best in the world. So, and you were CEO of the company. Don't you think it's a silly idea to give up a serious job with
Uh,
money?
Honestly, that time it seemed like a silly idea, but the thing was, Olga, I was in an IT job also. Uh, I was the CEO of the company, so it is a very stressful job. 24/7 by 365, you're working, and we used to handle very critical networks and servers of clients. So it was very, very, very stressful job. So I wanted something to have some other aspect of my life. So I just got into comedy as a hobby, and yes, I was 44. I had children. They were getting into college. So all those things used to really bother me. But what happened was that 4 years from 2012 to 2016, from 44 to 48, I did both. Fortunately, my job could allow me to do my job in the morning and do stand-up comedy in the evening, and I was just enjoying it too much. And it made me feel like a much happier person, a much better person. I was, because there's a very different aspect to life. In the office job is a totally different. When you come on stage, it's a very different kind of a life. It's like 180 degrees change when you come from your office back on stage. So I think it made
It's
me
like as if you have two faces, yeah? It's like one face when you can enjoy, the second face is a serious face, the boss in the office.
exactly. I used to write, I had this joke that every time I go from my office to a stage to comedy show, I feel like Clark Kent getting out of his office clothes and wearing a Superman costume and going out to save the world. So that was very, very very refreshing for me also, because Olga, when you go on stage and make people laugh, the laughter, it reverberates in your head for like many days. The kind of adrenaline rush which it gives in your body, the kind of positive hormones it releases in your body. I was enjoying it too much, and fortunately at that time the stand up comedy scene in India also was just rising. So I thought it would be uh, not really silly, but I think it would be prudent for me to leave the job and get into stand up comedy, because I was doing well. I was touring the country, I was enjoying comedy, and I felt 25 years I gave up to my IT job. Next 25 years of my life, I should give it to stand up comedy.
Wow. Of course, and you will live till 125 years old, I'm sure, and you have a lot of, I hope you have a lot of time. We pray for that.
Thank
Dear
you.
Atul, any awkward situations happen to you on the stage? Because, let's say in Russia, we often see that stand-up comedy, some people will attack them, something happened or whatever. What was the awkward situation you can remember?
So, as most comedians, I think the most awkward situation for any comedian, or I would say the really bad night for any comedian, is when he bombs on stage, when nobody laughs. If you have to, if you have to, if you have to humiliate a comedian, please don't laugh. We don't get sleep for 2 days when nobody laughs.
Oh my
So there
God.
have been a lot of instances where you've written a new joke, you feel it's funny, but the audience does not feel it's funny. And yeah, so we've all comedians throughout the world, we all have this moment where we have bombed so badly on stage. Sometimes some audience members heckle us. Fortunately, in India, the scene is pretty new, so you get a lot of you don't come people attacking you. People do get offended after the show. They will come and tell you that it's not right that you make jokes on this or that. It's okay. You listen from one ear, remove it from the other ear, so it's okay.
What are topics that is not possible to joke in India? What people are offended for what?
Honestly, Olga, today every people are offended at anything you say. So the point, but I think, like I know in Dubai, you can't talk about religion, you can't talk about the rulers. So just like in India, uh, uh, jokes on religion are not taken very, because first of all, our religion is so complex. I personally don't know much about my own religion, so it's not fair to make jokes on it. So on religious jokes, I think is one place wherein people should be little careful when making the joke, because people take it very differently. Even if the joke may not be on a religion, it could be something else. But if you just mention the religion, people do get offended. So, and this is actually happening everywhere in the world, Olga, that people are just getting offended for no rhyme or reason, and they're taking comedians too seriously, and they're taking politicians. too lightly. So that's the problem.
Yes, they're taking politicians too lightly because very many people are tired of that, and they're thinking that they are smarter than politicians, and they think that people can do better than politicians, and they think that when people are uniting, they can really find the best solutions much better than politicians. I think that's the reason. Atul, my question to you is, you also wrote the happiest ending, the comedy special that was screened on Netflix. How did you manage to do it? What was the secret of success?
So it was actually, I was talking to Netflix. This Netflix special came out on 1st January 2019. It was a part of something called as the Comedians of the World. There were 47 comedians from 13 countries, and we were in touch with Netflix. So rather, they reached out to me in 2017. We were having the discussions, and somewhere in 2018 we struck the deal, and it was very prestigious for me because for most comedians, Netflix is, the holy grail. So I think I was very fortunate. I'm one of the few Indians who have got a special on Netflix, and I think it was very nice and very professional to deal with Netflix. And at that time, and Netflix doesn't. They tell you to make whatever joke you want. They don't censor it. They don't. At least that time they used to not do that. And I think maybe now they have started doing it because they're a little bit more careful. But I think I had a great time. Performing for Netflix, and because most of my stuff is in English, most of my comedy is in English, it reaches out to audience members all over the world.
What is your best joke, Atul? What is the joke you think the most funniest joke you did, or the joke that you love the most?
I would say one. I have this thing where I talk about that Indian roads, the roads in India. Indian roads are made up of two types of holes, potholes and assholes. So I don't know whether I can say that or no, but yeah, sorry. Please beep me out if I can't say it.
Yes, that is funny indeed. Tell me, please, how your comedian? I know it's not exactly your job, but since I'm talking a lot now about conflict solving, to solve the conflict, in your opinion, can we solve conflict by jokes? And maybe you can give us some tips how to do it.
I don't think you can solve conflicts by jokes because some of the conflicts which go on are very deep rooted. It's not very simple. Whatever the conflicts which go on around the world, it is because of a long history of problems which are happening between the two countries or between two regions or things like that. I think the
Or
only
between even two worlds.
yes,
Yes.
I think the best way to solve conflicts is to appoint a woman president or a woman prime minister because they do the best job. If you see, even in the pandemic, last 2 years, 2.5 years of the pandemic, countries which were ruled by women, they did such a great job, like New Zealand and sort of other countries in controlling the pandemic. So I think
You're not going to be killed by Indian men after that, don't you think?
I'm a comedian, so I say I made a joke, but no, it's not a joke. I truly believe that women can take very much better care of the country than most men, because men have a lot of unnecessary ego, and that leads to conflicts. I think women are more smarter. They will do a much better job of handling the country. So I think just wherever there's a conflict, change the men, put a women prime minister or women president, and the conflicts will get solved.
That is the most funny answer, but at the same time, the most pleasing answer for me, Atul. And I would like also to ask you about women. No. I want to ask you about this song. I was at the Uzbekistan wedding 2 days ago, and there was a song. I was shocked. I will sing this song for you. Definitely, I'm not a good singer, but maybe you will recognize. Jimmy, Jimmy, acha, acha, tan tan dara dan dara dan dan, tan tan dara dan dara dan dan. Uh, what is the secret in your mind of these Indian songs that are so popular in Russia, in Kazakhstan, in Uzbekistan, that even after 20 or I don't know, 25 years of exist or disco dancer, these songs are still popular?
I think these songs are very popular because first of all they are very catchy. I have seen some songs in if you go to an Indian wedding and people are not dancing and suddenly the DJ will put on just one or two songs which may be slightly old, but there is something in the songs, maybe the lyrics, maybe the beat, where it starts making people dance. And once so all DJs around in India, I have sort of DJ friends, and they always tell me that there are these two, three songs, three, four songs. Once you play that, people all come on the dance floor. So I think there is something in this, and that is so nice to hear that Indian music is so popular. I know it's very popular in Russia, in Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan. So, and it is not now; it has been for a very, very long time, and that's because music cuts across boundaries. I have my daughter was in Greece last week for a holiday, and there in the lot of the discotheques in Greece or nightclubs. Sorry, I'm old, so I say discotheques, but it's nightclubs. A lot of
You're
nightclubs
not
in.
old. People at the 54, uh, they are going to all discos in Europe. When you go to the club there, you will be the youngest.
I
Just I
know.
want to let you know, Atul, if you go there, you will be the youngest, just for you to know.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you. Yeah, so she went to a lot of these nightclubs in Greece, and everywhere they were playing Indian music, Bollywood music, and it was just not the Indians dancing, everybody was dancing to it. And that's the beauty of music, it's so universal.
And my final question to you. When I was in Disneyland in Dubai, there was my family and Indian family, and we were competing in the cars to put the fire down, as if to put the fire down. It's no competition. And this Indian family won us, even though all of us were very competitive, and my daughter, even the champion of Russia in golf, but they were more competitive. They were fighting for that competition as if, as you say, as if you put your costume and you're a superhero and you're going to save the world. They were competing as if their life depends on this. Are all people in India very competitive? And what is the reason of them being that competitive?
First of all, you have to realize, Olga, that we are 1.3 billion Indians. We are one of the largest populations in the world. So to succeed, you have to be very, very competitive. And this competition comes right from the beginning. Even if you want admission in a school or a college or even a job, for that same one job, for that one admission in a college, there are thousands, sometimes millions of people fighting for that same, admission or a job in a particular, it could be in the police service or in the army. So I think we Indians are used to competition from a very, very early age. Our education system, fortunately or unfortunately, is very, very based on a lot of competition amongst each other. So even if you see, even in family members, if there is a brother and a sister, at every time the parents are comparing the brother to the sister, or say, "See, your brother is doing so well. Why don't you?" So the competition, I think, is very, very ingrained from a very early age in most Indians, and that's why I think we are competitive, and that's actually honestly very good also, because today the world is very ruthless and you have to be very, very competitive.
And now it's really my final question. I'm sorry. Now
No,
I
no, that's
want
okay.
to ask something else about Indian husbands. Are Indian husbands good?
um, I wouldn't say so, to be very honest with you. They are not the best. They are just like any other men. I'm a very good husband. You can ask me, you can call my wife and ask, but I think we are. I wouldn't say that we are the best husbands or things like that. I think um, I'll be very honest with that answer. And yeah, it's yeah, okay. We are good, but not there. We could do
But the
better.
wives are good. Indian wives are the best. Okay, if
Indian
husbands
wives are the best. They are the most beautiful. Indian women are one of the most beautiful women in the world, and they are very, very nice. Uh, kind of the Indian women are so hardworking. If you see a regular Indian woman, she's doing a job. She's taking care of the children. She's taking up care of the in-laws, of the husband. Like, there's too much which goes on, and sometimes you just worried. You just wonder where the strength comes from. So I would say that Indian
Today
women are.
is the most pleasant interview for the ears of all women of the world in Russia, in Kazakhstan, in India, in Dubai. And I think you pleased all the women of the world, dear Atul. And I wish you to be the most competitive with the strength of your amazing jokes.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you
That,
so
that
much.
is your power. Thank you so much for being with us.